All right, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. It's Good Afternoon, Ghana, and we're continuing with analysis of issues making the rounds in the country. My name is Ania Fwampofo. We're live from the Akua Boahema studio at North Ridge. This afternoon on the program is the 30th of January 2023. We're touching on some politics. We're still within the political, arena. I think there's so much going on with both political parties and the nation at large, because economic issues are informing people's voting terms and voting lines, and also activities going on in political parties is informing people's decision as to who to vote to lead these political parties. So the latest polls that's come out with or from the that's Global InfoAnalytics, is also giving us some headway as to what's happening within the NDC, what's happening within the MPP, and what's happening also nationally if we were to vote today, what was going to be the results. I've posted the flyer. Some of you were asking me questions about, okay, what is Dr. Bawumia leading in? What I can give you, or what I can tell you, is that he's leading in the internal party politics as the MPP prepares to elect its flag bearer. So Dr. Bawumia, according to the InfoAnalytics polls, is leading now. I will give you some, but we were told that it's such a slim margin. I actually can't give you the details. I'll have Musa Dankwa, who will be with me in the studio to do some analysis on the screen to help us understand with graphics what exactly was picked on the ground. So let me take a breather. I'll come back and he will join me, and we'll take you to the screen to see what exactly is going on with the results or the research that he has come out with. We'll be back shortly. All right, you're welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. I earlier on introduced the fact that we are going to go into a research that's come up with what is going on with the political parties and the national or the nation as a whole, how we're looking at our voting pattern. Should we vote today? By measuring the performance of our leaders and how they're actually being accepted by their political followers. So in terms of parties and in terms of the nation as well, NPP, NDC, I think they are the two leading political parties, and so the research was based on them. And then the nation at large, should we vote today? How is the pattern going to look like? I have Musa Dankwa, I'm privileged to be joined by him. He's Executive Director of Global InfoAnalytics, and we've been dealing with them for some time now, as they've been quite consistent with research in terms of the political line, how the patterns are going, and they've been informing us periodically how it's looking like. You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon.
Right. And so once again, we thank you for joining us in the studio. So I've actually glanced through a bit of the research. It's titled National Opinion Polls Analysis of Presidential Poll, 30th January 2023. When you say 30th January 2023, what does it mean?
Simply means today we kind of provided a summary for this program. And the numbers that are being presented today are based on the polls we conducted in between 31st December and 15th January.
Oh, okay. So the 30th of January has nothing to do with the research?
No, just today's date.
It's just the release of the research. Okay, Thank you. Thank you for that. So take us through. It's you said 19th January. Sorry, 19, which date? 19th December.
In fact, we did the survey from 31st December to 15th January 2023. And we interviewed 844 voters across 16 regions and 82 constituencies with a 99% confidence level and a margin of error of 1.74%.
Margin of error 1.74. 74.
Yeah.
Okay, 1.74. That's it. Margin of error. Okay, 1.74 is it not too much? It's not too big.
No, it's not too big as far as the race is concerned. In fact, margin of error of 1%, 1.5 is reasonable for opinion polls for elections.
I was going to ask that. Which one is acceptable now by the standards? I'm not sure. I'm not updated on the latest. Okay. So we have the sample size. There's 5,844, confidence level 99.99%, and MOE of 1.74. That is the margin of error. And then the field interviews were conducted between 31st of December and 15 January. That's what he has said. December 2022, 15 January 2023. The report is based on likely voters module. What does it mean?
It means the views of voters who said they will not vote were disregarded in the final analysis. We were focusing on those who said they will come out and vote.
Okay. All right. So let's now start with the presentation of your research. I think on my PowerPoint, it brings me to gender difference. I think female is 47% and male is 57%. Okay, so you take us through.
Right, basically they were 53% male and 47% female in the respondents. And then the age profile of the respondents were as follows. You can see that it looks like a bell shape, typical shape of Ghana's population structure. So we are quite confident that this reflects the age structure of the country. Then we also have educational level of people we interviewed.
So hold on, with the age difference, 29, that's really peak within the youth age. 29 is the highest.
Yes.
24 is the next.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The lowest is...
it's 4%, people above 64 years, the pensioners age group. And 55 to 64 is 7%. Okay. And then we have 7% people who are 16 years today that would vote in 2024.
Okay, let's go on.
Now we look at the educational background of the people we interviewed. Most of them have senior high qualification, followed by tertiary 28%, junior high 23%, and no education 15%.
Okay.
Then these are the employment status of voters. Most of them are self-employed, followed by students, and then currently unemployed 12%, working for private companies 12%, working for government 11%, working seasonally as and when I find job 7%. I'm retired 3%, and I work for an NGO or CSO 1%.
So I work for myself, that is the entrepreneurs are the highest, yes. 36%.
Yes, I mean most Ghanaians are self-employed. Yeah. Then we have the religious
most Ghanaians block. Within the voting.
Within the voting block, yes. If you do a random sampling, you will definitely find the same in the larger population.
Okay.
Now, Christians are majority in the sample, 67%, followed by Muslims, 20%, no religion, 5%, traditional religion, 4%, and other religions, also 4%.
All right.
Then the ethnic groups. Akans dominate 44%. Other smaller groups come together, 14%. Ewes, 12%. Moli Dagbani, 10%. Ghana Dangbe, 10%. The Goans are 5%. Grushi 2%, Gruma 2%, and Mande 1%. Then we have the political party affiliation. The people we interviewed, most of them were MPP supporters. 34% said they are MPP affiliates, followed by NDC, 33%. Floating voters, 26%. Other political parties, 4%. CPP, 2%. PNC, 0.5%, and PPP, 0.5%.
Okay, and that doesn't mean that your political party support is bigger than another political party. Remember that the sample size is 5,840. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Right. So now, here are the primaries polling result for the survey we did in the MPP primaries. Among all voters, including MPP affiliates, NDC, floating voters, and all other parties, Dr. Bawumia is on 32% support. We asked them if they were delegates in the MPP primaries, who would they elect to lead MPP? And among all voters, 32% mentioned Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Alan is on 41%. Someone else, 9%. Kennedy Japan on 14%, and others, 4%. So the rest of the MPP contestants are on 4%.
Okay, so in this case, and Alan Sherman-Ting is rather in the lead.
Yeah, he's widely popular among all voters.
Among
all voters.
Okay.
Compared to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on 32%.
Among all voters.
All voters.
Okay.
Yes. Now then we looked into the party affiliations of people who are backing these candidates. Now when you zoom into that affiliation, within MPP, Dr. Bawumia is on 40%, Alan 40%. So here they are tied within the MPP affiliate voters. Canada Japan is on 14%, others 3%, and someone else 3%. So right now, the difference between Alan and Bawumia.
Someone else.
Someone else. There are people who are not in the list that we have, and the voters prefer somebody else other than these people that we give them.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Now, in actual vote terms, we interviewed 1,877 MPP supporters in the sample. Bawumia lead Alan by 12 votes. 12 votes. And that gives us this tie that we can see on the screen now. Now, when we come to the NDC bloc, 25% of NDC supporters support Dr. Bawumia. 44% of them support Alan. 13% support Canada Japan. 7% support the others. And 11% said someone else. Now, when it comes to floating voters, 29% of floating voters back Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. 40% back Alan Chiramatin. 18% back Canada Japan. 4% someone else. And 9% others 4%, and then someone else 9%. Now, if you look at the other party supporters, PPP, CPP, and the rest, 29% back Bawumia, 38% back Alan, 7% back Canada Japan, 4% back the others, and then 22% want somebody else other than these candidates. So this is the current race in the MPP. Now, we are now looking at the regional results. How did they perform in all the regions? Here, I'm focusing on the front runners in the MPP race. In Ahafo, Dr. Bawumia, 27%, Alan, 25%, Ken, 25%. So this is a three-horse race in Ahafo region between the three leading candidates. When it comes to Ashanti region, Bawumia on 33.8, Alan 45.6, Canada Japan 18.1%. In the Bono East, 34% for Bawumia, 54% for Alan, 4% for Kennedy. When you go to Bono East, 29% for Bawumia, 50% for Alan, 18.8% for Kennedy. In the Eastern region, 38% for Bawumia, 46.9% for Alan, 9% for Kennedy. And in the Western North region, 48% or 49% for Bawumia, 28% for Alan, and 23% for Kennedy and Japan.
Which one is a BE and BER?
BE is Bono East region, and then Bono region. Then you have Northern region. Northern region, Bawumia leads 95% in Northern region. Alan, 4.9%. This is among MPP voters only.
Okay.
In the Northern region, so Northeast, Bawumia 95, Alan 4.9. Northern region, Bawumia 56%, Alan 40.6, and then in the Otik, Bawumia 39, Alan 35, and 21 Kennedy. In Savannah region, Bawumia 75, Alan 16.7, and Kennedy 8.3. Then you have Upper East, Bawumia on 63, Alan on 25, and Ajapon on 5%. Then Upper West, Bawumia 33, Alan 44, Kennedy 8.3. Then you have Buta region. In fact, it's tied in Buta region. Bawumia 41.4, Alan 41.4, and 10.3% for Kennedy. Now, the key swing regions, Greater Accra, Central, and Western region. Bawumia 39.9 in Greater Accra, Alan 35.7. So Bawumia leads in Greater Accra, 10.8 for Kennedy in Greater Accra. Then Central region, 25 for Bawumia, 56.5 for Alan, and 16.8 for Kennedy and Japan. Then Western region, Bawumia on 45.8, Alan on paltry 9.9%, and Kennedy 29.8%.
You're kidding me, right? Kennedy is beating Alan to it.
Yeah, he's beating Alan in
the Western region.
Western North, yes.
Okay.
So this is the current.
I mean, I want to recognize that Kennedy is largely making waves.
He is, in fact, he's
because
the only,
even with 5%,
he is the only candidate is on the ascendancy.
Is showing.
Yes, making progress period by period. Now, let's see this poll. This is the tracking of the MPP race. In January 2022, Bawumia was on 62%. Alan was on 26%. Kennedy was nowhere because he hasn't entered the race. In April, Bawumia dropped to 48%. Alan goes to 41%. 3% Kennedy. And then in July, Bawumia drops further to 44%. Alan stays at 41%, and Kennedy goes to 8%. Then you have October. Bawumia drops again to 42%. Alan drops 1% to 40%. Kennedy goes to 10%. Now, in January, Bawumia drops to 40%. Alan remains at 40%. Kennedy 14%. So you can see that it's only Kennedy who is rising in the poll.
Right.
Alan has stagnated at 40%, and Bawumia keeps
is
declining.
dropping.
Yes.
Could I be informed by any of the activities? Remember that Alan at some point had resigned, and he's now, you know, what's it called?
He resigned midway through the polling. During the second week of the polling, he resigned.
Oh, okay.
So it is possible some of the effect would have fed into the polling, but we can't tell precisely what effect that had. Now, in the event of runoff in the MPP race, this is where it gets very, very tricky. Bawumia is on 40%, Alan 60%. If it is Bawumia, Alan runoff. Now,
I don't understand this runoff.
Runoff, if there's no, because another MPP constitution, you must have win 50% plus one to become a flag bearer. If you score below that, there will be a second round of voting. Now, in the second round of voting, then the supporters of the other candidates become crucial in who become the flag bearer of MPP. In that scenario, it is very important to look at the behavior of Kennedy supporters and other people's supporters. In the case of runoff, the poll found that 52% of Ken supporters will switch and vote for Alan. Only 14% of them will switch and vote for Bawumia.
In the case of
runoff, yes.
Okay, so that's what's representing this 40 and 60
yes.
pie chart.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, yes, that is the overall. So the result of the 40-60 is because of this movement of these voters. Okay. Now, 34% of Ken voters will not vote in a runoff because for them it is Ken or nobody else. And then you can also see that the other parties or the other candidate supporters also move towards Alan by the same margin, 50%, and then 38% will vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And then those who said someone else, they are still saying someone else, not any of these candidates win the runoff, so they will not probably be voting at all. So this is dynamics of the MPP race in case there should be a runoff.
But if there's a runoff, why is the pie not representing and putting Bawumia probably in the lead?
No, because
or it can be either way.
You see, this is the runoff. Bawumia has 40%. This includes most people who were voting for him in the first round, plus some people who were voting for Kennedy in the first round. That is now been eliminated.
Okay.
They will come and join Bawumia and other parties, other candidate supporters. But most of the supporters from other candidates will switch to Alan, according to the poll.
Wow. Oh, and that will inform the 60.
Yes. That's is why Alan is on 60% in this runoff scenario.
Okay. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so this is the breakdown of how the movement of voters will be. That's breakout of Alan Ejapon and other voters, right? That's the graphs that's showing. Okay, so you can show that graph on TV so that people will know how you broke it down. So in case of a runoff, all right, this is the graph that will inform, you know, the seeming shifts or movements of voters that will move towards the Alan camp. So if you look at it independently, you know, in the smaller breakdown of how he has done the analysis, Bawumia probably will be taking advantage in the internal politics. But in case of a runoff, I think overall that's what I can say. In case of a runoff, he will probably not, you know, enjoy the benefits of a runoff. So let's move to the NDC primaries as well.
Yes. Now, in the case of the NDC primaries, among all voters, 77% back John Mahama to lead the NDC, according to the poll. 13% back Dr. Dufour to lead the NDC. And Kojo Bonsu is on 4%, and someone else 4%. Their race is very narrow, few candidates so far, so it's quite straightforward fight between the three. Now, if you look at the party affiliations of people who want Mahama to lead NDC, they include 60.9% of MPP supporters.
Okay.
They want Mahama to lead the NDC and MPP people. 23% of MPP supporters want Dufour to lead NDC. And 7.2% want Kojo Bonsu. And 8.8% want somebody else. When you come to NDC itself, 93.7% of them want John Mahama, NPP voters. 3.5% of them want Dr. Dufour. 1.1% want Kojo Bonsu.
You mean NDC voters?
Yes, NDC voters.
Right.
And 1.7% of NDC voters want somebody else. Now, if you come to floating voters, Mahama is backed by 73.8% of floating voters to lead the NDC. Dufour is backed by 14.8%. Kojo Bonsu, 3.1%, and 8.3% some other candidates. Then when you look at the other party supporters, 74.5% want John Mahama, 8.0 or 8% want Dufour, 2.2% want Kojo Bonsu, and 15% want somebody else. So Mahama is enjoying support across all the political lines, including MPP supporters.
That's interesting. Okay.
Now let's see where John Mahama won compared to Dufour. He won virtually everywhere, and the margins are staggering. In Ahafo, 68%. Ashanti region, 93% for Mahama, 3.0% for Dufour. In Bono region, 79.4%. In Bono East, 97%. In Eastern region, 99.4%. Sorry. Western North, 98.2%. In Northeast region, 97.2%. Northern region, 96.4%. Oti, 98.6%. Savannah, 100%. Upper East region, 79.3%. Upper West, 75.3%. Volta region, 96.5%. Greater Accra, 99%. That is staggering. Central region, 95.5%. Western region, 91.4%. So this is the race in the NDC.
I wanted to have that clarity.
Yes. Yes.
So
that's
that's
the race within NDC membership.
Okay.
So if you expect the delegates to go and vote the way their members think, then we could see Mahama in the mid-90s with regards to his numbers at the primaries. And that is the internal race so far.
Okay, so we're done with the region. So if you go to Greater Accra Central, okay, so that's the last one for the. Okay, so let's go now to the presidential.
Yes.
I think that's the last one.
Presidential.
Yeah.
Here we ask voters, if elections were held today, and it is between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and John Dramani Mahama as the leading candidates, who would you vote for? 58% of voters said they will vote for John Mahama. 36% want Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. 6% said they will vote someone else, other parties, presumably. And we asked them, what if it is Alan against Mahama? In the case of Alan versus Mahama, Mahama on 57% of the poll. Alan 39%, and someone else 4%. So we can still see that Mahama is still leading both Alan and Bawumia, but Alan is doing better in terms of the gap than Bawumia is.
Okay. Okay, so with the presidential elections, that is Alan and JDM. JDM is at 57, Alan is 39. But JDM versus Dr. Bawumia stands as 36, but that's only about 3% difference?
Well, in polling terms, it's only, but it's quite a lot.
I can appreciate that.
The margin of error is 1.74.
Right. Right, I can appreciate that. Let me ask this critical question, which sometimes we get a bit of backlash from other. They don't like us describing them as smaller political parties, but other political parties. When you are conducting these researches, is it not? It's not prudent, or is it, to add them or not to?
We could, but you see, we don't know what PNC will bring. We don't know what PPP will bring. We don't know who the other parties will bring. But we've known so far the leading contenders between the two leading candidates. They are what we know to be the plausible candidates that we can take to the polls. The rest are just speculative. And if you have someone else, if I intend to vote for some other candidate, I'll choose someone else because I don't like either Mahama nor Baumia or Alan. Yes.
But what about independent candidates? Because there are a number of
They will fall within the column of someone else other than these two. So there's room for everyone to choose, but yes, someone else.
Someone else.
Yes.
Okay, this is really accurate. Because I think I'm trying to punch holes. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to punch holes. So there is this presidential election, DMB versus JD, regions likely to vote.
Okay, there's this one that we currently put here. I think you may not have that one to show why John Mahama is winning against both Alan and
Alan Chairman, DMB.
Yes, we asked people what are the top 3 issues that you take into the ballot box, which would influence who you vote for. They mentioned the top is economy, jobs, education, roads, and health. Now, when we analyze those who mentioned jobs or economy, who did they vote for in the race between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and John Mahama? 34% of people who said economy was key to them went for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. 62% of those who said economy is the issue went for Mahama. 4% said someone else. For those who mentioned jobs as key to them, 35% went to Bawumia, 60% went to Mahama, 5% went to someone else. Education, 43% Bawumia, 52% Mahama. See, there is very close. It reflects the free education that people link to MPP. So they are reaping the reward of that free education. That's why this margin is close. And then here, roads, 32% Bawumia, 63% Mahama. Health, 37% Bawumia, and 5-6 for Mahama. So you could see that Mahama is dominating on all the key issues that matter to voters.
What does that mean?
It means that if the guy is going to decide who to vote for based on economy, then Mahama will win. If he's going to decide who to vote for based on job creation or who will create more jobs, then Mahama will win. If he's going to make decisions based on education, what he thinks is happening in the sector, then Mahama is still leading. On road, it's still Mahama. Healthcare is still Mahama. So for MPP to have a good chance, they must close the gap on these numbers. When you come to Alan, it's no real difference between Alan performance and Bawumia. Remember, the difference is 3 percentage points across the nation. On economy, Alan does better, 37% against Mahama's 61%. Jobs, 37 against 59. Education, 42 against 55. And then you have roads, 34, 63, and healthcare, 39, 55. Still, Mahama dominates all the key issues that worry voters. That is why Mahama is leading in the polls.
Okay, so I can interpret it to mean that even though Mahama is leading in all the polls, Alan Chemating is appealing better nationally
than
Dr. Bawumia.
Yes, according to the poll.
Okay, this one says, good afternoon. If election is to be held today, the NPP will lose due to the hardship of Ghanaians are going through. This is not about research. People are really suffering, Annie. From Alhaji Haruna, you say. Okay. I can read this one. Yeah, I can read it. But let me take a breather. I'll just take a short break. I'll be back, and then we can wrap up with the rest of the. I'm having some numbers and tables. I don't know if you have it on the screen, but we'll be back shortly. Yeah. Welcome back. We're with the Executive Director of Global InfoAnalytics, who's been serving us with some researches periodically. Musa Dankwa is Executive Director, and he's given us a breakdown of what has been, released today as the latest polls that they conducted on the political parties and nationally, if Ghanaians are to vote today. So let's go on. I think we now have to get to the regional breakdown.
Yes,
right?
Yes. Now here between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and John Mahama, who is winning where? Here we are focusing just on the two candidates, not including someone else, just for the graph to be clean. Now, in Ahafo, Mahama leads 60%, Bawumia 29%. In Ashanti region, Bawumia leads 55%, Mahama 37%. In Bono, 39 for Bawumia, 67 for Mahama. In Bono East, 9% for Bawumia, 88 for Mahama. Central region, 69 for Mahama, 27 for Dr. Bawumia. And this is a very crucial number because swing regions are very critical.
Central region.
Central region. Then you have Eastern region. Mahama is leading currently, 51%.
In the Eastern region?
In the Eastern region, and that shouldn't be the case. And 48% Bawumia. Eastern region is really a tough place now for MPP. Greater Accra, Bawumia on 28%, Mahama 66%. Northeast, Bawumia is winning, 53%. Mahama on 47%.
At Northeast?
Northeast region.
Is it, does it have to do with...
That's Bawumia's home region.
Home regions,
yes,
okay.
Yes. Now, Northern region presents a unique case. Bawumia is leading Mahama in the Northern region.
At 63%
to 37%. And that is something that we've seen in the polls consistently. And we've said that it is possible NDC will lose Northern region if care is not taken. And they could lose it because the numbers are looking good for them.
Maybe with even more issues happening within the political party.
It could make it worse.
Okay.
OT, Bawumia on 12%, Mahama 82%, Savannah 22 for Bawumia and 77 for Mahama. Upper East, 30% for Bawumia, 52 for Mahama. Upper West, Upper East, so Upper West, 41, 57. And voter regions, 88 to 7%. Western region is really bad for MPP right now. 72 Mahama and 17% for Bawumia. And Western North, 76 and 18% for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, if it is Alan versus John Mahama, this is how the race looks. Alan still loses Ahafo, but he's now winning Ashanti region by a wider margin.
Okay.
62% in Ashanti region compared to Bawumia's 55%.
That's very interesting.
Let's keep eye on this and we'll come back to this number. 24% in Bono region, still losing. Mahama 74%. Mahama wins Bono East. Mahama still wins Central region 64%, but by lower margin compared to Dr. Bawumia. Eastern region, still Mahama leads by a whisker, 50% to 49%, and this shouldn't be happening. Even with the Akan candidate, Alan, in Eastern region, it doesn't look good at the moment. Okay. They have a lot of work to do there. Greater Accra, 32% for Alan, 65% for Mahama. In Northeast, Mahama 51, Alan 46. So Mahama has gone to win Northeast if it's not Bawumia.
And Alan Chemating dropped the votes
in the Northern region. It is square.
Okay.
So you could see that there is a problem in the NDC. Whether it is Alan or Bawumia,
right,
they might win the Northern region. Then you have Otik, Alan 81%, Savannah, Alan 16%, Mahama 81%. Savannah 84 for Mahama, 14% for Alan. Upper East 41 for Alan is doing quite well, and 48 for Mahama. So you can see that he is squeezing Mahama in the Upper East region. In the Upper West, 38-58. Then voter region 86, 9%. Western region still doesn't change for MPP even under Alan, 16%. In fact, Alan does worse in Western region. For some reason, we don't know why. And then Western North, the same, about Mahama leads 72, Alan 23%. So you can see that Alan has only won Ashanti region and drew power with Mahama in Northern region. Yet, he is doing better against Mahama than Bawumia. Why? Because the Ashanti region vote that he maxed up was enough to cancel out all the losses he made elsewhere.
Right.
So Ashanti turnout is key.
Right.
Eastern turnout is key. For them to be competitive, they must do well in the Akan regions. If they don't, the race will be over.
So the Akan dominating factor within the NPP is still playing some role.
They are doing, see, they are strong in Ashanti region, Akan. They are strong in Eastern region, Akan. They do well in Central in the last 2 cycles, they are Akan. They do well in Western region, they are Akans. They do well in Bunu, they are Akans. Right now, they are down in all but Ashanti region, in the Akan areas. So that's the problem.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the swing regions put together, if you win the swing regions, you have won the elections in this country. What is the race now in the swing regions? The swing region will mean Greater Accra, Central, Western, and Northeast put together. In those regions, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is on 30%, lower than the national average that he scores 33%. Mahama is on 63% of the swing areas compared to 58 against Bawumia. So normally you shouldn't do better in the swing areas. Normally the swing areas are much tighter race than the national election. But here, Mahama is beating the odds. He is leading by larger margin than the national average in the swing regions, which must be a problem for MPP. They must watch out.
Okay.
Alan comes in, Alan improves it slightly to 33%, but Mahama is still on 62%. Still
actually dropped by 1%.
1% when Alan is the candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move to, I think we should move to...
break the 8.
Break the 8, yes.
Okay, let me just quickly...
Yes. These you are seeing on the screen are just the numbers that gives you the breakdown, what they worked with, and they've given us a breakdown.
Okay, break the 8.
Right.
We ask people, voters, that regardless of the choice you have made about who you intend to vote for, whether it is MPP candidate or NDC candidate or someone else, do you believe that the MPP can break the 8 in 2024? 24% of them said yes, they can break the 8. 59% said no, they can't break the 8. 17% said they have no opinion on that question. Now, when we zoom down to the regions and how they are voting, in Ahafo, 78% said no, MPP can't break the 8. In Ashanti region of all people, 59% of voters said they don't believe MPP can break the 8. They must change this sentiment in that region, otherwise there'll be trouble for MPP in the region. In the Bono region, 56% said no, they won't break the 8. In Bono East, it's 80%. Central, 59%. Eastern, 49%. Greater Accra, 60%. Northeast, 50%. It is only Northern region that gives break the 8 a positive 56%. And it reinforces the thinking or a belief that NDC may be on its way to lose the Northern region. You have Oti, 79% said no, they won't break the 8. Savannah, 79. Upper East, 56. Upper West, 82. Volta, 74. Western North, 48. And then, Western, 48% said they won't break the 8. And Western North is 85%. Yeah, that is the break the 8 story so far.
So that's it for the break the 8. Largely, a number of Ghanaians don't believe that the MPP can break the 8. And this is all situated in the 5,844 sample size.
Yes, correct.
That we're working with. Okay. So that's the whole, analysis that's been done. Do you think that you could have done us a lot more good if you had even found out maybe a few factors that's informing people's decisions? Or you may have picked it up from their demeanor. Because if you ask a question, do you think that MPP can break the 8? They would just brush you off and say, bacho, I don't even, like they don't show any interest. What was the demeanor?
Okay, see, when we go to do polls, we're not looking for reasons.
Okay.
Polls serve a different purpose.
Yeah.
From when you are doing a research to find out why. When we're doing poll, we don't find out why.
Why? Okay.
What is your view? What is your opinion? If you want to go find out why, it's a different project that will go back and find out why. Yes.
I
this will give you a guide. It's the initial impression you see. Then you dig down to find out why is this happening. Yes. So we have given them the heads up. The parties can take this survey and go back and expand on it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So it's for the parties to take it up to go and do their expansion.
Exactly.
Okay. Looking at, now let's look at Dr. Bawumia and Alan's personality. So I'm careful to ask you to advise whether or not, I don't know.
Because I won't give you that. I won't offer advice here, so don't even ask it.
Okay, but we can say that Dr. Alan, like we were talking about it earlier on, Mr. Alan Kyerematen, you said he resigned within the period of the polls conducting.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it means that he showing up, now speaking to people, now making waves could have informed whatever you put together.
No, if you see his itinerary, his plans, I think the speech he delivered was within the polling period. But after that, he was quiet. So we will see the real effect of his resignation in the next round of polling, which will be in April. If he's really making impact, we'll see it. So we have a window in April to see the effect of his activities that he's been engaging in since he's resigned as a Minister of Trade. But for now, there's nothing we can add until we go back to the country in April.
Okay. So even though you're not looking at reasons because it's polls, this was conducted within 31st December and 15th of January 2023. The reshuffle of minority leaders by the NDC happened just in the 20th of January. So what else could be the factor within the northern region?
You see,
that's affecting the NDC.
Okay. It is a very dynamic situation in the northern region. And I'll tell you from the numbers we've seen. You see, the northern region is made up of the Mawli Dagbani group largely, who are mostly Muslims. Now, what we have seen unique in the northern region is that when Mahama is running against Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, even the NDC supporters come together. They forget about the party color and go and support Bawumia to be the candidate because he's one of them and he's a Muslim. We've seen that in the numbers. But when it is not Bawumia running, then the NDC supporters who were helping Bawumia to win the race in the northern region go back to their original position and vote the way they've been voting. So NDC in the northern region is really, the person of the Bawumia is affecting their chances. If you look at the polling results from 2008, when Mahmoud Bawumia became the vice president, NDC has been declining in the polls consistently every 4 years in the northern region. And it's only a matter of time. It's when, not if before they lose that region.
Yeah.
So long as Bawumia is the candidate somewhere, I think there will be a tough fight for the northern region.
So if you appreciate the use of when and if in the English language, you know that you cannot just take this and run with it, right? So this one says, good afternoon, Annie. Every indication shows that the NDC is winning 2024 election because what the NPP has taken us through is too bad. Ghanaians are going through a serious mess, and our only hope is in the NDC. NPP only came to kill us with hardship and corruption. Eja Dugan Jumako sent that in. That's why I earlier on said that if you appreciate the when and the if used in construction of the English language, you will know that you cannot take this and run with it, okay? Anything can happen. This is if elections, were to be happening today, that's what's going to happen. Our time is up. Please, your final words.
My final word is that we'll keep faith with the country. We'll come back every 90 days with the fresh data, and we'll tell Ghanaians exactly where we are in the race, independently.
So when is the next release?
It's going to come second week of April.
Second week of April?
Yes.
That's in the second quarter?
Yes, second quarter.
So this for the first quarter?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, we'll end here. Mr. Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director for Global InfoAnalytics. They've been helping us with some of the polls that we've been conducting in the country periodically, pertaining to our elections. And this the latest one that has come has a 1.44 margin
1.74.
Sorry, 1.74
margin of error.
Still within the expected margin of error according to standards. Thanks for coming through. My name is Ania Fampofu. Thank you for watching. So we've given you the breakdown. Political parties that have been captured, you can take it up and work with it. Those whose names were not mentioned, you were still captured as others, because some of you have not given us your flag bearers. We haven't even picked up from the rumors what's going on and all that. So when we do, I'm sure that when they conduct the next research, you will now show vividly on the graphics that they've been showing. Thank you for coming through, sir. Thanks for your time, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.